All right, let's go to the next one. This is the reading, writing, fill in the blanks, practice number 11. Let's drop down the list. What we want to do is look at our options and then look before and after. This one right here, we got a preposition. So when we have a preposition, we want to check to see if we're dealing with dependent prepositions because sometimes not every single word can work with that preposition. So let's see. Audiences of, questions of, complaints of, criticism of. Audiences of, no, you can't do that. Questions of, yes. Complaint is usually with about, right? Complaint. So no, I would say criticism, yes. Criticism of. Questions of, criticism of. All right, so we have two options. Usually, when we're left with two options, we want to see if we can go with positive and negative. Because I feel like this can be a positive. Whoops. Question can be positive. I can't draw. Okay, question could be a positive or neutral, and then criticism is negative. Criticism is a negative opinion of someone or something. So let's see if we can identify a negative word. If we do, we go negative. If they don't say anything negative, we always go with the positive, basically neutral. And if you scan through all the way at the very end, do you agree? Problematic. That is a negative word. So I'm going to say they respond to criticism. And then because it's problematic. Next one. What do we do? It's grammar. It's grammar. So right away, when you see these words, do you agree? These are linking words, right? Since, and, because, and which. Then right away, you want to check if we have punctuation. We do. So if we have a punctuation, right away, one of these will be eliminated. Which one? Because. Because cannot use a comma. I was going to say preposition. Because cannot have a comma in the front. So because is out of there. For the sense and the and, you can. However, this would need to be a complete sentence. SVO. And right away, do you agree the word includes is a verb? If we have a verb right at the beginning, right after the blank, that means we are missing a subject. There's no subject here. So that means the and in the sense is automatically gone, because is gone, and just so happens which can represent a subject or an object of a sentence. And in this situation right here, you can see we are missing a subject because the verb is here. That means this will represent the subject and is probably talking about worksheet includes. Yes, that's it. Done. Okay, that was the grammar one. Next, still grammar, dealing with tenses. So, what you want to do is to check first, are there any INGs? There are none. Because if there are INGs in here, it means we need to check to see if we even need to put a verb in here. We don't have ING. That means every single one of these options are verbs. All right? So, past tense, simple past, simple present, passive voice. Has included is present perfect. We have a passive voice with 3 active voice. How do we identify whether or not to use passive voice? What kind of word do we need to put immediately after the past participle here in the passive voice? Preposition. Preposition. So we look after the blank. Is this a preposition? Hell nah. This ain't a preposition. So your passive voice is out of the question. Okay? So we're looking at present tense, past tense, or present continuous. So let's look inside the sentence right here. Do we have any words that represent time, years, dates, any type of reference to a specific time? We don't. We don't. So then the second thing we check for is, do we have any more verbs in this sentence? Because if we do, we want to match that tense. And if you take a look, you will notice that we don't. There are no other verbs in here. So this sentence has no clues for us to identify the tenses. So the next safest thing we can do, check top and bottom. Probably from the top, and then just to be safe, check the bottom. If you look at the sentence before, top, what tense are they using here? Would you agree? Does not, encourages. These are present tense. So the sentence above is using present tense. Let's look at the sentence below. This one right here. Well done, right here. Right away, present tense, are. So top is present, bottom is present. What do you think we should do here? Keep it present. That is the safest thing you can do. All right, next one. This is dealing with vocabulary, also collocations. But this one right here, if you're not sure, because they're talking about words like wow, yawn, sparkiness. I don't even use that. But yawn is like an expression people use because literally when they say yawn is what you do when you're sleepy, like that, right? But if somebody is talking and you don't want to hear it and you just say yawn, it means you're bored. You don't want to hear that. So it's an expression. So when you talk about expressions, it's colloquial because not everybody will use the same expressions, the same slang, things like that. Okay, so if you don't know this one, this is vocabulary. Learn this vocabulary word. All right, and then lastly, we got vocabulary again, but again, we have a preposition. So before we read anything else, let's check to see if anything sounds good with that preposition. Metaphors of, examples of, memories of, lessons of. Examples of and memories. I like examples and memories, okay? But we don't have any positive and negative here because they're both like neutral words. Examples of, memories of, and then the author. Because it's an author, I feel like since it's an author, somebody writing these things down, they're giving you examples of something. All right, that's what I would go with. And especially you check afterwards, you see all the comma, 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 comma. Why do we have so many commas? Because we're listing out examples. There it is. And that's what I would go with. And I hope that was helpful.